Right, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing something slightly different. We're going to do an unboxing of my new controller. I'm running two cameras here today. First time we've done a video like this, so we're going to give it a go. So this one is a Spectra Enhanced wired controller from Power A. They've got a lot of good reviews on YouTube and stuff like that, so I figured I'd chip in. A lot of reviews seem to happen from American guys and stuff like that, so we're based in the UK, so we're going to have a look. Now this is really cost effective, even compared to a normal Xbox controller. This was only just under £30 or £29.99. So you're looking at a lot cheaper than what you probably find in normal Xbox controllers, and certainly with Pro controllers and things like that have some extra features. This one comes with gaming paddles on the back, only two. Loosely call them paddles, they're actually buttons, but they're mappable, so you can map into anything, same as what you can do with a more expensive sort of Pro controller. It's Xbox controller sized, it's not any smaller, so if you do prefer a PlayStation controller, may not be for you. I'm actually going from a PlayStation controller to this purely for cost. Having a look around, scuff controllers are the best part of £130 before you even start adding and stuff like that. So I've not actually opened this at all yet, other than taking the little sticky bits off of here, so we'll get to it, and hopefully you'll see what you need to see on this and you can make your own mind up on it. So let's see what we can do. So I'll just move this camera down a little bit so you can't see my head. You can see my dog in the background rolling around, but that's fine. Just goes to show that we're not professional. Fair enough. Right, okay, so I'll go through the features and the benefits of this controller as we open it, so because I can read the back as I'm opening the box. So this is a key point to this controller. This is wired. This is not a wireless controller, so I'm okay, because I don't know whether or not you can play. I can show you, but I play on a laptop at the moment, so for me personally it's not really an issue, and I shouldn't imagine for most PC players that's not going to be too much of an issue either. If you are buying it for yourself, or maybe for a child or something like that, then, you know, for the Xbox in the bedroom, it may not be for you, purely because of the cabling, and you run a risk of someone tripping over the cable and taking it out the Xbox. But there is a feature for that. So yeah, so this is it. So the wireless controller has RGB lighting, which is one of the key selling points, I think, to it. Purely because I think it's going to look quite good once it's all lit up. It has two extra paddles on the back, which I'll show you in a second. It also has adjustable triggers, so if you do play first-person shooters, I predominantly play Fortnite, for example, then I think that's going to be a big benefit, because you don't have to worry about the full travel. So I will show you that as we go. So relatively pretty box, and as you can see from here, I think it's actually quite well packaged. I mean, it's got just normal blister packaging that you'd get on something like this, and so for the price point, you know, you're not going to get, you know, these cushioned gaming pouches that you're going to find with an Elite 2 controller, for example. Let's just knock that out of the way, we don't need it. So on first opening of the box, the controller actually looks absolutely really nice. It's got a really nice matte sort of finish to the front, and even down to the cable. It's actually braided. It's not like bog standard kind of USB cable that you're going to get. It is actually a nice thick chunky braided cable. I believe this is about 10 feet 9-10 feet long, so you're going to have plenty of cable to do. Just a nice touch to see it actually have a little bit of quality to it. The feature that I mentioned about, obviously, safety feature, there is a little clasp here. It's kind of just a quick release kind of cable. I'm guessing the thinking behind this is that if somebody does happen to trip over it, this is gonna separate hopefully before it pulls your Xbox off the side. There's still a bit of resistance to it, so I'm guessing the amount of angle, you may still get the Xbox off the side if someone trips over it, but you may not. But yeah, so on the cable itself, yeah, I would definitely say that's probably about 9 feet in length. Let's just put that to the side and get to the good bit, which is the controller. Now, pop this out. So on first impressions, it's actually heavier than, this is my standard Xbox One S controller, as you can see. Actually feels a touch heavier. I wouldn't say it's going to cause certainly children any problem holding it at all. So a little bit heavier. Size wise, as you can see, it's pretty much bob on for an Xbox One controller. Layout is the same. As you can see on the back, there are a couple of extra bits that we're going to go through in a second with you. And yeah, first impressions, actually, this actually looks really tidy. Just pressing around on the sticks on that compared to an Xbox. Now bear in mind this controller is about 2 years old, but as you can see, condition wise, well, I'm not a heavy gamer, to be fair, so condition wise it's still in pretty good condition. And I would say that the sticks on this have slight more resistance. Now it could be just because it's new, could also be because that's the way it's been set up. And I think you'll find that on certain games, certainly shooters and first person shooters, having a little bit more resistance on the sticks is actually a good thing, purely because when the game gets a little bit intense, it starts fast moving, you've got a tendency to push the sticks, and you can actually over aim and go past your targets and things like that. So there's going to be no features on this in respect of, there's no software involved, so you can't go into your your desktop or whatever, or into your Xbox and start changing settings. I mean, for £30 you're not going to get that kind of customization, but you are going to get what feels like a very solid controller. The buttons, these are a bit clicky. They sound a little bit clicky. You know, the original Xbox one's a little quieter, but I actually feel like the buffers on this one, rather than the triggers, actually feel a little bit better. So going into the little features that you do get this controller, as you can see from the underside, you get a series of switches, which are in relation to your triggers, which will be these two little sliders on the back here. Then if you can see that, I've got a second camera running up down here. I'm going to may use that video depending on how it comes out, but yeah, so feels good. So what you basically have here, as you can see from the side, you've got at the moment as default the kind of normal travel that you'll get on any Xbox controller. I actually do feel that travels actually as standard a little bit less than a normal controller does, but once you start clicking these little switches in at the back here, so you've got one click in, then all of a sudden your trigger much shorter, go for the other one, last click, and your trigger travel shortens in relation to what you do. So when you want these clicked all the way in and you're playing, your sticks are gonna travel less, first-person shooters, that's going to be perfect. For racing games, I don't think that's going to be. So if you do play races, you're going to want those all the way out, because you're going to want that kind of control for your acceleration and be able to be smooth. You're playing things like Forza and stuff like that. For games like Call of Duty, you're going to want that slider all the way across, so that nice and quick. Fortnite, you got your, I wouldn't say it's a mouse click, but all of a sudden you're able to spam that button much faster, which is going to help certainly for weapons that you need to release the trigger on. So yeah, fairly straightforward. The cable itself, just going back to the cabling, sort of nice chunky feel even to the cable. Now, as I said, this is a wired controller, so you are going to need to have this plugged in at all times. But the good thing about this, as you can see here, it goes in, nice solid click, that's not coming out. There are two little pins here which will enable you to squeeze in. It's the first time I've done this, it's a little bit tight, and release the cable. So nice fitting, doesn't really cause too much of an issue. D-pad wise, actually that feels quite responsive as well, so I don't think that's too much of a problem. And obviously moving on to one of the main features that I've bought this controller for, let's take this out, are these. So you've got two mappable buttons, which, as you can see, are actually perfectly located. I don't have particularly large hands or anything like that, but those buttons are perfectly located for a standard grip for my middle fingers. If you play claw, which I don't, but if you did play claw, or you're trying to play claw on a controller, the third finger is there. If you've got slightly larger hands, then I would say sort of medium size, then it would probably be okay. But I'm then at that point clicking them with my fingertips rather than on a standard grip where you're holding them sort of properly. And I think, to be fair, this kind of controller at this price point is going to be aimed more at children that want something a little bit flashy with that, or someone like myself who plays sort of semi-seriously on Fortnite, who wants to get that extra function. And basically all that you do with these buttons on the back is they're not extra buttons. So if you are watching this and you're not totally familiar with how gaming controllers work, your parents, for example, these aren't extra buttons on the back. So they don't give you two extra buttons to play with. What they do is they enable you to reprogram one of these buttons to the back. So the key advantage to that is that when you're playing fast-paced shooter games, as you can see with my thumb controls here, you're aiming on this stick, you're moving on this stick, and a lot of games, Call of Duty, Fortnite, and things like that, default you jump to A, they'll default changing your weapons to different buttons, maybe Y, or if that's on your controller. What this will enable you to do is program these buttons onto these little buttons at the back. So if you're running around this, that, and the other, and you don't want to take your finger off to go to A, because then you lose your ability to aim, you can program A for one of these little back sticks. So now all of a sudden you're jumping, you lose no aim, you lose no control over your character. And these buttons can be mapped. I don't believe they can be mapped to these two, which is your share and your options buttons, but practically anything else can be mapped to it. Even your left click and your right click features can be mapped to it. Anything on your directional pad and anything on your game face buttons over here. I think you can even map your triggers. Why on earth you would do that, I have no idea, but pretty much cool. And the way you do it is you hold the map button till it's flashing, and then you hold and you press the trigger, and then you press the button, and that's pretty much it. So there's no software involved on that. So let's go ahead and actually plug this in. and we'll see exactly what happens here, because it's going to be interesting, because I've not actually genuinely turned this controller on yet. So if it doesn't work, I'm going to look like a spanner. But yeah, so nice chunky clicking into that. And I'm just going to USB this straight into my laptop. Straight away, we've got a light on the front. So there is power getting to the controller, as you can see from there. And then on the back, you've got program and you've got LEDs. So I'm hoping I'll press the LED button. There we go. So you've got a nice glow up. Obviously the camera makes it look a little bit off color, but that is actually quite a strong red. We've got a nice strong, I would say, Xbox green, dark blue, purple. It's quite a nice colour. It looks pinkish on the screen, but it's not. That one's a very light sort of pea green, but that's quite a nice green. Aqua blue, and an orange. And I believe the last one, yeah, that's a sort of a pulse, so it will cycle through all of the settings, and you can also play with it off. So for kids, I mean, kids are going to love that. I mean, for 30 quid, to be honest with you, I don't think you're going to get anything as good and as functional as this. Now, admittedly, I've not done any gaming with this yet. This is only the first initial video that we've done on this channel regarding any unboxing of a product at all. But and it's not usually something that we would try and do on here. But for the value, I've been looking around for controllers for PlayStation and for various bits, and can't get anything for this kind of cost. With these functions, with these, with the feel and what is generally build quality. Let's come back up to here. Yeah, so as a general, it's just build quality of this controller. It is feels very, very good. Feels comfortable in the hand. I think this nice smooth. You can't really tell on the thing, but you can see it's nice and matte compared to the hard kind of plastic that you're going to get even on a standard Xbox controller, which I think at the moment go for between £40 and £50. If you want to buy anything with a better colour than this, you're looking at premium prices on top of that as well. So all in all, I think PowerAir hit the nail on the head with that really, really well. It will remain to be seen on longevity and how that actually lasts through gaming. But the weight and the actual, there's no creaks to this. There's no creaks to this. There's no issues or anything like that. I think this is actually a really, really good controller. So I'm going to do some gaming with this later on. I'm going to get it programs. And I will do a very, very short video because I'm not very good at Fortnite, just to show the functionality and see how responsive it really, really is. But yeah, thanks for watching if you are, and subscribe, like the channel. It's a new channel. We've got practically nobody at the moment on this, but you know, we're going to start doing some more of these little unboxing videos of bits where we're looking to do our own PC build very soon. So we're going to start doing some unboxing videos on the components that we're getting for the PC build, and we're going to be doing some gaming as well. Okay, so it's Naughtier Jedi for the channel. Naughtier Jedi on TikTok as well. We just put on there when we're going to be streaming or when we're going to be doing anything like this. So you can. It's a nice, easy way of doing that. It's all streamed through YouTube. So Naughtier Jedi on YouTube. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys.